So guys, my name is Mike. Brewed Crypto is a community server. No one's really paid here to do anything. We do offer some services around, the crypto degen community around security, and ultimately, what the server was formed for was kind of what we're doing today. So many people have been rugged in past projects, degen plays. So what we kind of do here is we look at projects and uh, from a from a perspective of seeing what the good ones are and what the bad ones are. It's kind of a community where we openly talk about projects, obviously with the intention of um, finding the good ones from the bad ones ultimately. So pretty straightforward stuff. So, I've heard a lot of good things about collective finance. I've been pretty busy lately, so I haven't had a chance to really dig in. So I was really excited when you guys wanted to do an AMA over here, to kind of dig in. So I'm going to use this as a learning opportunity for myself. And then to the community, they've offered up, I think it was $50 worth of one of your native tokens, I believe. And usually I like to give that out to the community for people that um, ask the hardest question. Make the project teams squirm here. Ask the hard questions, and we'll kind of award those out to maybe two people at the end of the call. Maybe break it up into 25 each. If that sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. We got $50 worth of our CLF token, which will be launching when we launch. So you won't be able to get the tokens right away as we're still in development phases and everything, but it'll be marked down, and then when we launch, you will receive those tokens.
Very cool. I appreciate you guys doing that for the community. But again, whoever asked the hardest question, make these guys work for it. We'll go from there and award that at the end of the call. So guys, if you want to kick things off, I mean, maybe talk, briefly about your background, and then let's start digging into what the offering looks like.
Perfect. Yeah, guys.
For sure. You want me to go first here, boys?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. And I think it's really important. We'll spend a few minutes on our team. One of the things we believe that behind collective finance is that we have a really, really strong team that's diverse with a lot of experience and a lot of muscle behind us, right? So myself, Doc, Brian, I'm a real world physician. I've been practicing God for about 15 years or so now. I transitioned into sort of follow my entrepreneurial spirit, I would say, 10 years ago or so. And really now I've followed that pretty aggressively. I have a number of different businesses, one of them multinational. I've been a big seed and angel type investor sort of my whole life. I've been a precious metals bug and a gold bug in particular. And really that's what brought us around to collective finance and my role there as well. So I think what I bring to the team is really my business experience. I've been through this before. Kripsam will tell you a little bit about himself, but him and I are really trying to bring our real world experience and what we've learned and incorporating that into collective finance. So we've also had a big focus on bringing some folks off chain into this space as well. So it's a little bit of background about myself. I'm pretty much always available. We'll talk about the security part of this, I'm sure, in a little while. But all of us have been KYC, docs, the whole kit and caboodle. So thanks for having us, Mike. We're excited to be here.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Chris, if you're here, go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, so obviously I go by Kripsam in the DeFi space. My name is Zach, and I kind of been inspired to do something like this in DeFi for quite some time now. I think it's a needed thing in DeFi to have integrity and somewhere you can go park your funds and know that they're going to be safe. And even if it's not crazy APRs, you're going to be able to have stability and growth within a protocol itself that's well diversified. So we have a lot of things going on in the back end that we can talk about throughout this AMA. As far as what I do, I have a few businesses in real life that I run and kind of diversified there too. I have an auto shop that focuses around diesel repair and performance and custom fabrication. We do camper van builds, sprinter van builds. I mean, you name it, we do it if it's cool. We kind of stop at once we hit the truck level, we stop. We don't work on any cars unless it's customs and classics. So that's what I do on one of my businesses. I was inspired to do that after working. I don't know if you guys heard this in the past or before I jumped on and got to introduce myself, but I do know a guy that was kind of in the automotive industry, and I built a lot of cars for him and managed one of his ranches. And kind of was doing all that as I was trying to fill in my entrepreneurial spirit. So after 6-7 years of working with him, I understood a lot about finance because he is well diversified in finance. He's a traditional type guy. He taught me quite a lot about what I'm doing today and gave me some inspiration. And when I left kind of his place, I had already had 2 businesses going before I had stepped out the door and starting a third one. So he kind of inspired me to do all that, and found out that it can work if you do things right and if you don't screw people over. So I decided to kind of get a little bit more into agriculture because I'm involved in that as well as renewable energy and regenerative farming practices. So I'm kind of spread out. And I have a great network of amazing people that I've built over the past 10 years. And that network is directly integrated into collective finance. So you guys, as you listen to our podcast and see us, the team's not, the team's very, very well diversified in a lot of different ways, including the other founder, NP, which you guys will meet soon. If you haven't already. So that pretty much sums it up for me. And any questions anybody has, they can always reach out to us. I'm not the greatest with DMs as I got a lot of things going, but appreciate if you just reach out to us with any questions.
Impressive stuff, and I think we're going to be best friends with all that car stuff.
I am in we do also do some other cool stuff too, equipment, and I have snowmobiles myself, two new snowmobiles and 4-wheelers and dirt bikes, and my kids are outdoors kids. Plus I didn't mention that I ride and sell horses on the side as well. So I'm kind of got a lot of different things going.
Very cool. Thanks for that. Chrome, over to you.
Yeah, guys, absolutely. So my name's Chrome, also known as Monkey, and I go by Jacob real life. So I've been around in the space for quite some time. I think coming up on 3 years or 2.5 years, something like that. But yeah, I've been around for quite some time for DeFi and crypto and all that. And I've been interested and engaged in projects and as a participant investor, and also on the back end in some things. And I've been truly interested in this space and what we can build. And I had the chance to meet these 2 guys up here, I think about a year ago, or maybe a little bit over a year ago. And we've hit it off ever since. We've all been working together, building this together. I kind of run more of the operational back end type of stuff, whether that be community, social media, kind of managing the white paper, kind of all the fine-tuned little back end stuff, organizing events and all that stuff. So yeah, you'll find me around in the community, chatting in different places, organizing contests, giveaways. So, and as CryptoSomZ, if you ever want to reach out to us, definitely don't hesitate. Most of us are pretty available and will respond fairly quickly. So I'll keep it short and sweet. That's a little bit about me. And
appreciate that, Chrome. Yeah, I definitely have seen you everywhere, so you're doing an excellent job at that.
Thanks.
So before we kind of kick off into details, so how long has this been in development? This project?
I think close to six months now, maybe a little bit longer.
It started off
years.
with, it did. Sorry to interrupt. It started off with sort of a basic idea that, in principle that we all wanted to work around. And then, it's really been built there. It's been a while. Yeah, at least 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, time flies in DeFi.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, 6 months is a long time in DeFi. So this isn't some fly-by-night project right? That's
No,
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at
coded
all.
and right.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's, the other thing too about our team, I think it's important for us to remember that we didn't just meet and like, this is random people. Oh yeah, here's an idea. I mean, we're all really tight. We have a great amount of trust and belief in one another. And it's critically important sort of to what we're doing. Right. So this wasn't just thrown together ragamuffin, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Well, so there's a lot of moving parts. So whoever is best equipped to start breaking things down, and then then I think, once we kind of get that overview, what kind of the next steps and then opportunities are, and then
Perfect.
we'll go to questions. So hopefully that gets people asking some questions about the project and go from there. So whoever
Yeah.
wants to start breaking that down, maybe there's like a screenshot or something we could drop in the chat for people to follow along with.
Yeah. Chrome,
For
we'll
sure.
let Chrome kind of head are you talking about the details of the project exactly, how everything
Exactly.
works?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. We have some
Exactly. I
good
think yep.
we have some really good infographics too that I'll try to get dropped in here as well. But Chrome,
Cool.
are you okay with taking on that?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Doc can give a little bit of the little bit of a pitch, and then I can go more into detail.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think, yeah, of course.
Yep, no problem. I'll give you guys more, and this is typically what I do, more of the 5,000-foot overview and how our protocol was built. So you will see that our protocol is not built around, I would say, traditional DeFi principles that we've been used to. There's not big high rebases. We're not promising APRs. There's nothing insane there. However, we tried to build it more around strong foundation business principles more than anything. I like to say that our protocol is built around digital gold and Bitcoin and real gold in our C Gold token. So the idea is really to provide 24/7 cheap, reliable access to a select group of commodities, those being gold, silver, and diamonds, in which participants can earn yield and rewards on. And then at the same time, this is integrated into our entire ecosystem, which is based around the CLF token, which Chrome will talk about. But the idea, in my opinion, is if you think about digital gold and real gold, and that's setting the foundation for what we're building. And maybe that's the sort of quick elevator pitch, and Chrome, you can sort of hop into the details of how those mechanics work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a lot of people may know, within regular TradFi and Forex and everything, dealing with commodities can be somewhat expensive. There's a lot of limitations. There's high fees. There's just tons of barriers that block a lot of people, even like the everyday investor. Even traditional people as well, from gaining exposure to these commodities that have proven their safety and security over thousands and thousands of years. So that's what we're trying to solve, is by issuing C tokens, over collateralizing them by 105 to 115%. That way we can provide safe and secure exposure to these assets with minimal fees, 365, like at all times tradable. You're not limited to being stuck on weekdays from 9 to 5, stuff like that. So yeah, it's basically providing exposure and a way to earn yield on these safe and secure assets, and be able to do that for a long time, as well as grow exponentially to other chains, other networks, and really move people away from, I guess, stablecoin farming to a more traditional gold, silver, and diamond farm. And so, yeah, as Doc said, we have our CLF token, which is going to be the project token, native token, and it's this token isn't over collateralized. It's not pegged to gold or any commodity. It's just the open market, kind of volatile token. It can see some upside, it can see some downside. It's kind of up to the user's level, but it'll all intrinsically, the CLF token will be intrinsically backed by the different mechanisms within the protocol, that being the Vault, Treasury, and Portfolio, which we will jump into soon. But yeah, so the CLF token allows you to essentially unlock yield in many different tokens within our platform. And we'll go more in depth on exactly how that works. But think of CLF as the oil in the engine. It kind of helps everything move and is the backbone of the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so C token is a stable coin? Did I get that right?
we'll walk through this, Chrome. If you can drop some of those infographics in the AMA chat, I think this will be helpful. So because it's easier to break this down, and when you talk about CLF and then you talk about our C tokens, those are the over collateralized tokens. So let's just talk about C Gold. That's going to be the first token that we come out with, CGLD. And when we say it's over collateralized and backed, this will be backed by PAX G. And the PAX G, if you're familiar with it, is actually one PAX G is always equal to 1 ounce of gold, and that gold is actually held in a vault in England, right? So the idea behind our C tokens and C Gold is that you have this PAX G, which serves as the collateral, which is essentially held in a vault on the Ethereum chain. And then what we're able to do is mint C Gold tokens, right? And like Chrome said, which to the point they're collateralized minimum 10% there. And then our C Gold tokens are going to be circulating on the Binance chain. And then participants are able to get gold exposure or silver exposure or diamond exposure by participating then in the LP pools and then earning rewards. And that's how they'll be traded. So that's how the collateralization part works for our C Gold token. And that is separate, as Chrome said, from our CLF token, which is our native protocol token, right? The CLF token, the idea behind this is that it's going to be paired with actually wrapped Bitcoin. And we've built out a liquid lock staking platform that by participating in the liquidity and then staking and locking that in one of our tiers, participants are able to earn a trifecta at least of rewards, being C Gold tokens, stable coins, as well as our native CLF, potentially Bitcoin in there as well. But that's really what's going to drive the ecosystem. I think Chrome before has described it as the oil in the engine, right? So by participants locking in our platform, they're going to able to earn these robust rewards, and then they're going to actually earn gold in these C tokens as well. That can then be put back into the platform. It can be taken as profit, whatever you want. But it's those two different mechanisms between CLF and CGLD. And I think those infographics will help explain that a little better too.
Yeah, so just a quick little short summary is that the C tokens are going to be over collateralized commodity representations like gold, silver, and diamonds. They'll be fully backed and over collateralized to keep everybody safe. And then the CLF token is the native project token, which is open market and is going to have a ton of utility within the ecosystem and other places everywhere. But the CLF token is what unlocks you the potential to earn yield in many different tokens. And so now I guess I'll jump into that since we're on that part a little bit. So to unlock the most out of our platform and earn the most yield, you'll want to, as Doc said, create liquidity with the CLF. So if you participate in our presale, actually, you'll be receiving liquidity positions back. So you won't have to, sell any or use any fresh stables or Bitcoin to create LP. You'll just have that LP position ready if you participate in presale. So from there, you'll be able to stake it on the Vertex DEX. You stake your LP on the Vertex DEX, and what you get back from that is called a gauge token or a receipt token. So you take that receipt token or the gauge token, and you can then lock it within the collective finance platform and include there's 4 different tiers of locking: 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, and 180-day. And so they're all 4 different pools, as you can think of it. So you can have positions locked in every single different tier, different amounts. It'll be unlocking at different times. And those representations, it'll be called XCLF. So when you create the liquidity, stake it on the DEX, and then lock that liquidity gauge token on the collective finance platform, you're creating XCLF. And XCLF will actually be an NFT. So this NFT will hold all the metadata and represent your stake and earn you rewards that the protocol generates from the 3 different mechanisms that I mentioned earlier, which are the vault, treasury, and portfolio. So the rewards, as Doc said, will be in many tokens, not just more CLF tokens. You'll be earning stable coins, C Gold, so gold tokens, as well as potentially Bitcoin. So it'll be a basket of rewards that's not just more inflationary style rewards. You're going to be earning real yield in nice, stable, secure tokens. So when doing so and getting into XCLF, you'll then get an NFT, and this is something that we just recently innovated. Actually, was making XCLF an NFT position. So, let's say you're in need of some capital and you need to liquidate your position early, like you're locked in a 30-day or something, but you need that capital. Well, having an NFT opens it up that you can then essentially liquidate that position, sell it to somebody else on the NFT marketplace within Vertec DEX, and yeah, basically liquidate your locked position. So it adds a bit of semi-liquid to the lock staking, if that makes sense.
It actually creates its own market more so than anything else. And I think, like Chrome said, imagine your locked position in that data represented within a unique NFT, and then that NFT is able to be put on the market, right? And it actually creates almost a similar opportunity to like arbitrage more than anything else. But it's a really nice way for participants because I don't know about you guys, but it's always hard for me to lock something. Man, I'm locking it for 6 months or whatever it may be. This creates an opportunity for participants to have some liquidity to that locked position. So it can take some of the sting out of locking.
Yeah. I would add too, like, it's tough for me to lock because of what's happened in the past, right? I mean, I've just haven't been able to trust a lock necessarily without worrying about impermanent loss. So we've tried to create, this is really cool. I mean, taking an illiquid asset at that point and having a market for it to be somewhat liquid. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. So it, like Doc said, it kind of takes a sting out. For me, it doesn't twist me up too much. And, it's another way as well to have access on a discount if you're on the other end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you kind of touched on, so the play isn't necessarily just buying and holding the CLF token, right? You want to stake things, lock things, and get yield and quotes passive income play from that point.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. And if you look at the way we're trying to give people exposure, when you think about it, is you get your, so I think Marty, I saw commented in there, you get your sort of typical traditional DeFi potential moon token with CLF, right? Then you're going to also have exposure to the OG in Bitcoin, right? And then you also obtain gold exposure as well. And then finally, stable coins too. So really you get exposure to from the highest volatility to the lowest volatility. And when participants get back these rewards, it's going to be a great thing because then they can take profits in healthy way. They can roll that back into participate however they want, right? It really gives them the ultimate flexibility, and you're getting your high upside, degen type token in one hand, and you're getting your absolute stable token in the other hand, and everything in the middle there. So we feel like that exposure platform is well diversified, right? And you don't always find that in other DeFi protocols.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're building out a platform, and this isn't just a couple of tokens. So
correct.
Yeah, very interesting. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And it's worth talking a little bit now about our revenue streams and those mechanisms. So, Chrome had mentioned, and if you look at the infographics, there's three main portions in collective finance: the treasury, the vault, and the portfolio. And probably we can even break these down, and each of us talk about a different one. But the treasury, for example, is traditional or similar to a traditional treasury in the DeFi space. It acts like the protocol bank. It's the holder of protocol-owned liquidity. It's going to receive admissions and give out rewards there. We then go into the portfolio. The portfolio quickly is a collection of on-chain assets that are going to be mobilized and earning yield, and those rewards are going to be given back to participants as well as used to help the portfolio grow. And then we have the vault, which is the final one, which is basically the holder of our commodity, our sea gold, our silver, our diamond tokens. And that will be responsible for minting those tokens, for holding the collateral there as well. And all three of these different options produce revenue and yield in their own different ways. And we can get into those in detail. I didn't mean to steal all the thunder, boys. But that's sort of yeah, no, that's sort of a quick and dirty version of how we produce revenue. The great thing behind the additional thing that's really awesome behind those is that the portfolio and the vault intrinsically will always have a net asset value, right? So when you think about the gold holdings and then the on-chain assets, with how we have the mechanisms of the protocol set up, not only will they provide yield and rewards for our participants, but they're also going to intrinsically and perpetually grow, right? What that does is it provides a floor of that net asset value, and that's intrinsically linked to our XCLF and the people who lock their tokens, right? So our protocol is designed for that stability and growth long term, and so that the bottom doesn't fall out like we've seen happen so many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to jump in here and kind of boast up some stuff a little bit. So specifically within the portfolio, I think that's going to be one of the main kickers of our project here is, as Doc said, it's a collection of on-chain assets, and it's strictly going to be producing outside revenue. So we want to make sure that a big part of this is that we're generating revenue that's not focused or in a closed loop of the project, but actually coming from outside revenue sources not related to the project itself. So we're going to be focusing...
Yeah, that's what I was kind of interested in hearing. So,
Yeah.
you're not just pulling like, taxes from buying and selling the CLF token, but you're actually going outside of this platform to bring in revenue.
Correct, exactly. So that's what I think what a lot of people have been looking for recently. I want to make sure that's 100% clear that that is a main focus of the project in collective finances, utilizing our portfolio to generate outside revenue, not focused in collective to help grow the portfolio so it can continue to compound and increase its size, as well as provide some rewards for like the treasury and everything, and then most of it going back to the participants of XCLF lock staking. So the revenue generated gets compounded a little bit back to the treasury, and then most of it goes back to the stakers and the lockers. So that's a big focus. It's going to be the portfolio will be many different ways. We're not going to have all of our eggs in one basket. We want to have a diverse portfolio generating some stable and safe revenue, whether that be within liquidity farms, trading bots that have been tested, stuff like that. And that'll also be largely guided by the angels table. So we take heavy vote from our angels and make sure that they're well engaged and well participated within the project to steer the direction and make sure that they see things are going the way that it should be. So definitely one of the big things is allowing the angel part, like the angels, to get a good vote and say in kind of the guidance and the direction of where collective goes and where we might put some stables to farm, yada yada, that type of stuff.
Very cool. Have you made any investments yet?
Yes.
Perfect. Yep.
We actually have. So we have 2 investments currently, and we're working on some more right now on the back end. But our first 2 were with Kyoto. The first one was with Kyoto. So we actually, I can't remember the exact size, but I think we put a couple $1,000s into the Diamond Vault so that we could start earning there, because we're big believers in Kyoto and we love what those guys are doing over there.
Awesome.
Doc up here is a big participant himself. I'll let him talk about that. But yeah, so Kyoto was one of the first ones. We like those guys. The second one.
Can I touch on that? I want to touch on Kyoto for a second.
Yeah.
If anybody knows Simon over at Kyoto, I just want to say that guy is an amazing guy. He's actually become a close friend of mine, and I believe he's second over there in Kyoto, but an amazing gentleman. And we have a lot of things that are actually in the works that I'm not going to talk about on this AMA because I can't. But I'll say it's going to, directly affect us at Collective Finance, along with the future of Collective Finance as we work together with him. So things are looking very good on that front. I also want to add a little bit more about, the portfolio. It's not just a typical portfolio. There's some questions in here that we're going to have to get to as well. But it's not your typical portfolio. I always say your network is your net worth. right? So I didn't really, realize how valuable that was until we really started diving in and meeting all these connections. And between my real life connections and DeFi connections, I mean, my network's, 100x in a year, and it blows up so fast. And then that inherently brings opportunity to whatever you're directly involved with. I mean, typically that's how it works, right? So luckily, we've created this amazing network of these very awesome people at a decently higher level, that's going to help with not only collective finance but our investments as well, with collective finance. So I want to, if you guys have a second, I don't know, Chrome, if you want to continue to finish explaining what you were saying, but I'd like to get to some of these questions as well.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think real quick, our other investment, it's super important, is in Vertec, in the DEX that we're hosted on, right? That we made an investment in the DEX and that we locked into the Volta. I think it's imperative that everybody know how good of a relationship we have with Vertec. We believe that what they have built over there is something special. The technology that they have is really going to enable us to do very, very unique things, right? So that was a critical investment that we made for collective finance, and that's an investment that we plan on continuing to grow over time. So. And those are just the first two of many. We have opportunities with the portfolio potentially in forex trading, with bot trading. I mean, really pretty much runs the gamut. And I think it's important, like Chrome said, our angels table. I'm a huge angel investor, so is Crypto. We really value our angels tremendously. We feel like they're underutilized in many cases. So, they almost serve as our de facto advisory board, or, a watered down board of directors. So it's a really key point to make in regard to the guidance of our portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So I think so before we hit questions, so that was a quick overview. So kind of the state of the project, right? So you talked about some angel investors. So you actually went through an angel round that was open to people. That's now closed. And I think we're looking at, in terms of next steps, you have a pre-sale that is opening up here soon. So if you want to touch on that, and then we'll start hitting questions because there's quite a few.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So really, we just finished up, like you said, with our seed and angel round. It was really successful. We were super happy with it. That's now been closed, and we're transitioning into our lead up to the pre-sale. So the pre-sale will start on the 17th, and it's probably going to go for up to 2 weeks unless we hit the hard cap first. The hard cap will probably be 500K. We haven't completely decided on that, but we think that's where we are. And really, the pre-sale is going to be the last opportunity to get into collective finance at a discount, right? There'll be a 10% premium for participation in the pre-sale. It's also going to be the only way to get the pre-sale NFT, which is the C gold NFT. So you will actually be rewarded with gold, with C gold, if you have that NFT. So by participating in our pre-sale and buying in with a minimum $1,000, you get one of those NFTs per $1,000 that you buy in. So that'll be coming up here literally shortly within the week.
And just to clarify, the minimum entry of the pre-sale is going to be $50, I believe. So you don't have to enter with a minimum of 1,000. It's just the 1,000 entry will allow you. It's one of the requirements to get a pre-sale NFT. So
You get the NFT. Gotcha.
Yeah, so if you want a pre-sale NFT, it's $1,000 or more into the pre-sale. For every $1,000, you get one NFT. But to get those NFTs, you have to then lock the position you receive, the LP position you receive from the pre-sale, into the collective finance platform. So you want to take your LP, stake it on the DEX, and then lock stake in the collective finance platform. We'll be making sure and checking everything. So you just have to buy in for 1K, lock your position on the collective finance platform. About a week later, we'll be double checking everything and then sending out all the NFTs for everybody that was eligible.
Great. Is the pre-sale, there's the 5% buy tax? Is it tax free as well for pre-sale, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tax
No,
free. You're going to get a 10% premium. So let's say you put in $1,000 of stable coins, you'll get $1,100. So 1,100 of an LP position. So already
Great.
liquidity ready to go.
yeah, we think that's something really unique about our pre-sale is that we're not going to be giving people back just all native tokens, right? They're going to be getting back LP positions, which enables participants to sort of go right or left however they want, and to do so in a cheaper fashion. It also helps liquidity from start be really thick, which is important. So
Right, that's
we
true.
think we think that aspect is going to be very appealing to people.
Yep. Yeah. I always kind of, the 10% is pretty reasonable on the pre-sale. I usually worry about ones that, 20, 30, 40% discount to what they launched for, and always causing a dump from the very beginning. So I like that that's a reasonable number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we launched, too, without getting into it too much, but we've already put together some programs that to heavily incentivize for not only to maintain buy pressure through launch, but to really incentivize people to want to participate in the lock program and XCLF and to get some robust rewards quickly. So all of that will really help to support the CLF token at launch.
Hey, very cool. And kind of in terms of, so you said the angel and the seed phrase was the raise went really well. I know, some projects out there have been struggling to raise some funds. Do you guys see, I mean, things are looking pretty good for like a minimum buy that you need during pre-sale to get things really going?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
And how
have
do you,
we have a soft cap. So we have estimated around 150K for the soft cap that's like what we need to like really make things work for like a starting point. But obviously the more capital the better. It'll just be like a more robust start with the more capital we have.
yeah, thicker LP and everything. Okay, so 150K to really get things going. Yep, appreciate that.
And we've actually engaged, we have a chief marketing officer basically that we're going to be getting. So we're going to we're approaching this in a pretty aggressive fashion. And I think you'll see that over the next probably 3 weeks here or so to really start spreading the word about collective finance. And yeah, the angel and the seed round, it's, myself and Crypto, we've raised millions of dollars, in for real world businesses, and it's never easy to raise money. But we have some amazing angels and the people that support us, and we were very pleased with how things went. That's for sure, and we're very pleased with the angels that we have on the inside now, because it's as important the people you have as the capital, in our opinion.
That's good to hear. Yeah, you guys have been there and done that. So, I know we're in strange economic times. Free money isn't really readily available out there any longer. So it's good to hear that you guys have done it before and you know what it takes. So let's go ahead and start hitting questions because there's a number of them, and we're about 45 minutes after. Let's see. So I'll go ahead and ask them. And if anyone wants to come to the stage and actually ask questions too, I can bring you up. Just raise your hand. So
Yeah,
if anyone
absolutely.
wants to raise their hand and talk up here, we can do that. So let me go ahead and start working through some of the questions here.
Yeah, while you're looking for questions too, Mike, I would encourage everybody out there. There's some great content out there on collective finance already. We've been really blessed to work with, folks like Serenity and Sean. And so there's a lot of really good deep dives into collective finance, the protocol, as well as us as team members there too. So I would encourage people to really go take a look because there's a lot of content out there.
Correct.
Very cool. And one I would recommend, as always, everybody loves Serenity. I think he's done a couple of videos, right? I think he had you on a live stream as well. So,
Yep.
Serenity, if you want to drop your information to your YouTube channel, I definitely recommend subscribing to Mr. Serenity. I watch all his videos. So he would be the one to check out for more information on this. All right.
Yeah, 100%. definitely shout out to Serenity down there. He's been a great guy to work with, and it's always super fun to chat with, and love the videos that he dropped with us. Definitely appreciate all those.
Yeah, and what I like about Serenity is he does do deep dives. He's not like what I'll call the typical Schiller YouTuber.
Yeah,
So
not at all.
he's legitimate, and his are the videos that you want to watch. So there we go. There's enough
Right
love
on.
for Serenity for sure. Okay.
You'd
So
be
we got
amazed if you go out and look at stuff. How many? I'm sure all the founders out there know, but when you go to try to find marketing, promotion, and things like that, it's as easy to get rugged by those folks as it is running a protocol, right? So
exactly.
having reliable content creators, people that you can trust and work with in an ongoing fashion too is so important. So
Yep, 100%. So we do have Mr. Robert that wants to come up to stage. So why don't we hit Robert's questions and then we'll go to the typed ones. Sorry, I'm just scrolling around here.
Yeah, sounds good. Bring him up.
RM. All right, Robert, I got you flagged. Come on, Robert. So you want to ask some questions? Why don't you hit it? Are you there?
Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
How's everyone today?
Good. How about you?
real well, thanks.
You know, busy, but busy life's the best life.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I've been hearing quite a little bit about collective finance, and I find it quite interesting overall. Right, I work in security and compliance, and I have a lot of experience in precious metals as well, gold, silver, and also diamonds.
Cool.
So, one of my main questions to you guys is I have a few, but we'll hit on a couple, and then we can chat a little bit offline as well.
Yeah, cool.
But you guys talk about the vault, right? You guys are storing, let's say, your precious metals in said vault, right? So gold or silver will be stored there physically.
No, and when we say vault, that's a key thing too. Our vault, we're talking about an online vault. So imagine all the PAX G that we hold that is collateralizing the C Gold tokens, that would be held essentially basically on chain. It might be in a cold wallet, that type of thing. But no, it's not an actual vault with the gold in it, right? PAX G sort of takes care of that for us.
Understood. And then I also happen to understand, I read through you guys' white paper a little bit. And then as well, you guys are, so your CF, your token, one of your tokens, the CLF one, is 1-to-1 with 1 gram of gold, correct? The pricing of 1 gram of gold.
That
Says
would be
that in the
our,
white paper.
yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
the
be our gold. CGLD token will be 1-to-1 with 1 gram and over collateralized on chain by PAX G.
And then when it comes to other precious metals such as silver or diamonds, how do you plan on substantiating said tokens by those precious metals?
This is the great question. I love this one.
Yeah.
And because this is key, right? It's an apples to apples thing that we need to maintain, right? So we have a something on chain from a diamond standpoint already that we've done a lot of due diligence on. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag completely here, but we feel pretty comfortable that we have a way to back our diamond token with actual diamonds, very similar to PAX G, that are held in the vault. Silver, to be frank, we haven't found the right partner quite yet. We've sort of been looking out there, and there's some folks that are eligible, I would say, but it needs to sort of fit our model more than anything else. So I know that's probably a vague way of answering your question, but we do have something definitively lined up for the diamonds. Silver is in the works. And they will be all of our tokens. It's a key point there. So if we have a gold token, it's going to be backed by gold. When we have our diamond token, it will be backed by diamond. So it will always be those apples to apples, and we won't be, say, backing up our gold token with dollars. If that makes sense.
Excellent. Makes sense. Diamond business is an interesting business. We call it a handshake business. It's based off of trust and loyalty. I've been in the diamond business for some time now, so I know how it works a little bit. With
Yeah.
that being said,
I'd love
when it
to
comes
talk
to
to you offline sometime about this too, because we could have a real good chat. So please shoot me a message at some point. I'd love to chat about it.
yeah, we'll do. And then when it comes to security and compliance, you guys sound like you're from America, and it sounds like collective finance. I don't know, is it America facing or is it not when it comes to an entity in the company? Is it registered here in the States or is it registered offshore?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, we're still debating on where we want to register. We have some offshore options that we think might be much better from a regulatory and a tax standpoint, right? But right now, just like you said, from a security and transparency standpoint, I think if you look at us from start, whether it's the guys at Ashore and our KYC, who's doing our audits, sort of our doxing, that type of thing, that's paramount to us, right? So and it's going to be really key for us, especially with regard to protecting that collateral that we have there, right? So yeah, big focus, but we're always open to further insight and guidance.
Because essentially it's a staking mechanism, right? And staking here in the States, America facing doesn't look too well, especially now with all the regulatory parameters they're getting hit down on certain exchanges and individuals, right? Because you're pretty much asking people to lock up tokens, right? Which here with the SEC, the CFTC, and the Office of Foreign Assets Control, right? When you're working with precious metals and also asking people to stake their tokens can get a little tricky, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so
Yep. And one of my other businesses is actually in a really, really crypto regulatory friendly place, right? So that we, from an international standpoint, we already have the pieces in place to sort of go that route. We want to make the right choice. It's one of these things where it's no small, because you're right, that regulatory risk is real and you need to pay attention to it.
yeah, especially because you guys are growing and you guys are taking in funds, right? $500,000, $600,000, federal government's not gonna care about that. But if you guys grow successfully and you grow tremendously, then you guys start to get into that eyesight, right? And they always look to drop the hammer on someone, make an example out of someone, right? Especially in DeFi. So my other question too has to do with about the treasury, right? You guys talk about your treasury. So for you guys to grow your treasury and of that haps, you're going to be making investments, right? Like a treasury as a service to grow it, correct?
It doesn't have to be investments because of where the treasury's position is in the Vertex DEX. I mean, it's inherently just going to also slowly gain over time just being on the DEX for the POL of the treasury.
So yeah, it's good to know we have a treasury specifically for our POL position with the CLF token, but then we have the portfolio, which will be like on-chain assets, investments, trading bots, and stuff like that.
Correct.
But yeah, so go ahead. For revenue streams, right? So because as a company, as a project, you guys need as many revenue streams as you can get, right? Of course. What are those revenue streams looking like for you guys? Trading bots, things of that nature. What do you guys have in the pipeline?
Let me cover this a little bit because there are some things that we can't talk about. And unfortunately, we won't be able to discuss names. But I can tell you as far as partnerships with other protocols and investments, we've got some things on the back end already happening with trading bots. There's a lot of things in the works. So as far as what's going to be, I can tell you that that's where we're headed, and that's what we have actually going on right now. We've already made some of these investments into some of these bots, and I personally am trying things out as well. So we're working on it fervently to be able to announce what we're doing. But as far as exactly what we're doing right this second, it's kind of tough because it's kind of confidential at this point.
Yeah, totally makes sense. When it comes to bots, I have a few good ones in mind too, because I help run a few bots and know some people. So if you guys need help there,
that would be kick.
Yeah, don't keep those secret then, Robert.
You guys probably know what they are anyways. I probably told you about them anyways, Mike. You probably already know.
And Robert, I think like to get more detailed or granular about your question on the revenue stream. So when you look at from the vault, right, the initial seed gold liquidity position whenever we launch is going to be owned completely by the vault, right? There's a 2% in, 2% out on that. So there's no tax. It's just basically almost like a trading fee. But that will be revenue directly as LP that comes back to us, right? That doesn't include any emissions that we have, any mining. Then when you get into the portfolio, like we said, it'll almost be completely diversified, right? So, and again, under the guidance of our angels table too, what's the exact yield and return we're going to have on that? I think like Cripsom said, I don't think we can say specifically right now, right? And then honestly, from a pure revenue generation standpoint, we expect the portfolio and the vault to really be the heavy hitters, with the treasury sort of being there, doing its own thing, albeit on a smaller level, right? So, but when you combine the revenue and yield from all three of those, it can be pretty impactful and powerful, and it's coming in different forms, right? So revenue or yield, and how's it coming in? Is it at stables? Is it more gold? Is it more CLF? I think we have all of that built in.
Understood. And then my last and final question, I'll let everyone else have a shot at asking you guys the hard questions.
Yeah.
But of course, you guys have probably got this one a lot. This is the one that collateralized, over collateralized, 1-to-1 substantiation with a hard asset. Cryptocurrency coin always gets is what happens if the price of gold, let's say, dwindles a little bit, because we all know that gold and silver are heavily manipulated, because they trade over derivatives and they're manipulated by institutional banks. For example, JP Morgan's got fined about $30 billion for manipulating gold and silver. So what happens if the price of gold, let's say, dumps 10, 15%, even though you guys are over collateralized by about 5 to 10%?
Yeah, so that's where Doc brought this up earlier with the apples to apples. So that's the nice thing, is that we're backing gold with gold. So if the price of our collateralization moves, so will the price of our token. So it'll always be met at all times, because it's going to be following the exact same price. So if we have 115% collateralization, the price moves, both of the tokens move in price, and their collateralization stays the same. So the collateralization will only change if we add more PaxG or take out PaxG, or if we mint new tokens and delete new tokens on the Binance side. But yeah, as Doc said before, everything's apples to apples. So even if gold moves, our token moves with it, and our collateralization stays the same.
Yep, that's a good way to explain it. The other thing we're exploring now, and we think we have some options, but it goes back to your question about security, Robert, is are we able to earn any yield on our collateral position, right? So if we have all this PaxG that's sitting there, are we able to earn some safe yield on that? And there's some potential options with lending, borrowing, that type of thing that we're looking into as well. But even if you could generate a small amount of yield on your collateral holdings as well, it would almost be like a cherry on top. And we have something that we're really exploring with that could be huge. We just got to make sure that it's absolutely secure in what we want to do. But it's sort of be burning both ends of the candle.
Makes sense, gentlemen. Makes sense. There's a lot of it's a very delicate game. We have to stay vigilant, right? Of course, when you work with precious metals securities and DeFi on top of that, it's a very gray area. So of course, best of luck to you guys. Looking forward to what you guys can create, right? I always like seeing different protocols kind of mix in substantiations of precious metals. Because I think that's vital, and I'm shocked that more projects haven't done it. But of course, it's a very long and kind of transparent process to do so. Especially when it's stored off chain physically. That's a whole nother realm. But since you guys are doing it through PaxG, it's a shortcut for you guys. But best of luck. If you guys have any questions about security and compliance, my DMs are open for you. So yeah, but I highly suggest going offshore with the entity, not being America facing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Thank you for coming up and asking these questions. I think they were very valuable.
Yeah,
of course.
Appreciate that, Red.
Yeah.
And give the giveaway to 2 other people. I'm good. I just want to ask questions. I was just
Thank you.
curious. All right,
Very
guys.
cool. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
All
man.
right, let's start hitting. Are you guys good to keep going? We're at the top of the hour. I know there's a lot of questions here. Maybe we can get another 15 minutes of questions going here. So let me start hitting them.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Marty asks, so kind of a joking question perhaps, but maybe a possibility. So can CLF 10x?
Yeah, open market definitely could. That's the beauty of DeFi.
Yeah, Marty, and I'll follow up and say this, that the plan is at launch is for us to create as much buy pressure as possible, as well as minimize and limit sell pressure, right? So if you put those two things in combination, it could be good.
It could be a possibility. Okay.
Yeah, but I also
Fun.
want to say in this too, that we didn't build collective finance about CLF mooning, right? That's not what it's about. It's built for sort of long-term stability, growth, and yield more than anything else. But that component is potentially there.
Yeah, and I would add to that too as well. Like we thought about this too, hence why our pairing is to BTC now. BTCB.
Yeah, and that can help.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the potential upside and exposure to Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin 10x's, CLF's gonna do
Yeah.
well.
Yep, you guys moved from the stable pairing to Bitcoin. So yeah, cool. All right, let's keep going. So Serenity asks, out of the 3 commodities you mentioned, why did you choose to start with gold instead of silver or diamond? So I think we kind of talked about that. If there's anything else you guys want to add in that regard.
I think the simplest and quickest answer was just the ease of access because of PaxG already being available on chain, already audited, been tried and tested for years, and yeah, we've had experience ourselves as investors into PaxG, and we feel that it's a completely safe and trusted asset.
Yeah, I mean, you don't reinvent, like you don't want to necessarily reinvent the wheel. I mean, you're going to enter a whole nother form of issues if you go back, if we try to be the PaxG, or if we try to be the PaxG for diamonds or silver or whatever. They provided these opportunities for us to use. I mean, we might as well use them. And it leads to, another question of why somebody said, why can't we do this ourselves? And I'm going to tell you, I mean, you certainly can if you have a really good network and really good ideas. Everybody can do this. And we encourage more innovation, but as you said, and some other people have said, I don't know if you said this, but the gentleman is just on saying that, surprised more people haven't done it. It's really tough, I'd say, to put together a integrity-based team that everybody trusts each other, has the same visions, has, equally at stake, stuff like that. I would say, it's kind of tough to find that in the DeFi space sometimes. And not that there isn't a great group of people already out there with projects, but it's time to build, and we see a kind of a loop here or a gap in the market where we're going to try to help fill that and give some people some more exposure to this stuff.
Yeah, very cool. It does. I mean, it's a huge project. This isn't something that can be created overnight. So I know you guys have been working on this and to bring the opportunity to people here. So I appreciate that. So Marty asked, so you could get an NFT even if you locked $1, or will there be a smallest lock amount?
So that's something we have to do some like fine-tune testing because our staking platform is still in development and testing right now. And it's a new type of system that we haven't, fully like seen anywhere before. I think some projects have done something similar, but it isn't it isn't like tried and tested yet. So we do have to do some testing around exactly what is possible, but I do want to say that with how the blockchain works, you should be able to essentially put up any amount as long as it's within the 18 decimal range. So you should be able to put up like 0.1701 amount and lock it. Obviously, it'll be like pennies, nickels, and dimes. Like it wouldn't be worth anything, but it should be doable. We just have to do some fine-tuned testing first before we can 100% confirm that.
Yep, makes sense. All right, Serenity asks, will the rewards be paid out for our lock position at the end of the stake time, or is it dripping out to our wallets during the stake?
We'll probably put them out. We're thinking it's going to be on an every week to 2 weeks type, I guess would say sort of drip at once, not a daily drip. One of the things that you have to keep in mind is that by doing this, so we're going to have to be pulling profits from the portfolio, pulling profits from the vault in order to distribute out to the participants. So doing that constantly is not efficient, and it's not going to be very good from a gas standpoint. So likely every few weeks will be whenever the rewards are given. And I think we discussed we're really right now in that 2 week type period.
Yeah, it'll be like a batch reward. So essentially, we do a week or two of farming and generating revenue. We then split it up, divide it out, and then the part that gets sent to XCLF holders will get all distributed at once, be like a batch send. And then, yeah, you'll receive like I believe it will be an airdrop. I cannot 100% confirm that, but I believe since it's NFTs, it will just go to all the NFT holders. And yeah, it'll just be broken up between the different tiers.
Now, and I want to bring up a point about this too. You know, it seems somewhat complicated, but just so everybody knows, we're already trying to figure integrate ways to be able to make this automated, because that's the plan in the future is to have this completely decentralized.
Yeah, we have some heavy hitter devs on our team too. You know, I think it probably gets brushed sometimes, but we have some big folks that are working on this stuff and everything. And even when you look at our contracts, we've already completed like the CLF token contract audit, right? And so the other ones are in motion as well.
Very cool. Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask in terms of who's developing all this. So
yeah, I mean,
that is
I'll bring up a couple of folks in particular, due to my connections and my network over time, and along with these guys know him as well. But I had a kind of a direct connection with him. His name's LB in the space, and he's an awesome guy. He was part of Grape and Vinium back. I mean, he still has them going. I mean, he was one of the founder of them. So, but anyways, he's been a long-term friend, and he's helped us out a lot in the past. I've helped him out. I've done some graphic stuff for him, and we've just been working really well together over the past couple of years. And I asked him, hey, you know, we're building something cool. We need somebody really good. And we got, you know, one of our other devs, Briz, and a few others, but we need somebody to kind of advise everything, and that's LB, and he's incredible.
Yeah, I think it's very good to note that we did not outsource or hire Fiverr devs or anything like that. We have everything in-house by people that have been building in the space for a long time and have worked on successful projects and everything. So this isn't just like their first rodeo or a team of Fiverr devs or anything like that.
That's great to hear. You should ask me about that time when I had 50,000 stolen from a Fiverr dev.
Yeah.
By a Fiverr dev.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different story.
Those guys are the worst.
Yeah, it's really bad for the projects that use them. All right, very cool. Well, that definitely is reassuring. We'll keep going down the question. So although CLF is the degen play, well, sort of degen, this is asked by Marty, will most want to lock for rewards? So what are you kind of hearing from your community? Are most people looking to lock? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's one of the main components and the main utility of the CLF token is to stake and lock it within the platform, and that's how you unlock yield. You're not going to be earning yield in stables or gold or Bitcoin or anything by just holding the CLF token or just by holding liquidity position. You have to lock that position within the platform. So if you want to unlock the most amount of rewards and get the most from your position, then it will definitely be involving staking. So we believe that a large majority of people with CLF tokens will most likely be locking them, staking them, and trying to get the most out of them.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about passive income, in a stable play. So cool. All right, Cyril asks, what methods are you taking to prepare for the regulations moving into the crypto industry regarding staking security? So Robert came and hit pretty hard on some of those questions. So if there's anything else you guys want to add in terms of the regulation side.
I do want to add something to it. I would say there's a whole lot of fear around it, right? I mean, there's a whole lot of fear. Everybody's fearful. You can tell around the space from the questions, and we are not turning our heads to this. We understand that it's a concern. We're taking care of that, and we're making sure that the business is set up in a crypto regulated or a friendly crypto regulated country, even if it's Costa Rica or some other countries we've been looking into, a little bit more friendlier than the U.S. So yes, that's in the works, but I don't want it to be a big concern or a fear. Because that just drives more fear. I would say that at some point, crypto's so big now, and this is just my opinion. And by the way, at any point on this, it's not ever financial advice. I expect you guys to do your own research. But I would say just from what I see, I think that there's more adoption happening than there is, conflict. So, I mean, I watch the news pretty closely on a macro level, not a local or even Fox News. I don't watch any of that stuff. But as far as finance goes in the news there, I kind of see a mix of emotions. But obviously I'm bullish on crypto, but it's gotten so big now and people have adopted it so much that it's kind of tough to completely let it go away. So they're trying to regulate it now, and it's going to be tough. It's United States is one country, crypto's global.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also, it's good to note that there, like, some people have worries about the SEC and all this stuff and regulations, but to really get to that level, you have to be extremely large. We're talking centralized exchange level large, and I think it's definitely a goal of ours to get to be on that level, but I think it will obviously take some time to grow. And I think the only people that are getting looked at are those higher level people. Because if you really look at it, there's probably, I don't know any like statistics or anything, but I want to say probably 100 projects a day that get started and that eventually fail. It just, like, every single day there's something new coming out in DeFi and new projects, new this, new that. So it's pretty hard for, I guess, regulations to come hit on all these DeFi projects, because like the government is going to have to be sifting for years on end, doing due diligence on millions of people that have started projects, that have rugged. Like, I think there's a big worry, but it's very low chance.
Yeah, I would agree, but I'm going to say to everybody again, we're not turning our ears or heads to this. We already are working on this, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that is what we're going to be doing, and it will be in a crypto-friendly country. And at that time, we'll announce the business, and if everybody has any questions, be free to ask. Happy to ask questions to us, and we'll be free.
Yeah, very cool. That's definitely reassuring. You see all these rugs, multi-millions, and that's just a drop in the bucket. And no one's ever going to pay any attention to any of that. So
yeah, I mean, I would
very
never.
good.
Something to remember as well is as I said, like I have active businesses set up in countries that are friendly to this type of thing, right? So I have legal teams there, the whole deal. So I think from our personal perspective and a collective finance view, we're looking pretty good. And I think what to do now is you build, you follow, you prepare, you follow the rules the best you can, and you wait and see what are these regulations actually going to be. I mean, we have no idea what's in the pipeline from the U.S. government or anywhere else. So, we're going to try to build as safely as we can, and we have experience with this type of thing in the past too.
Yeah, very cool. Very reassuring. Serenity asks, why did you choose the Vertex DEX?
Hey, Doc, go in.
You guys got another half hour here, I hope.
Well, quick.
I will. So we believe not only are we really tied in closely with the leadership at Vertex. Obviously, NP is one of our founders, and he's one of theirs as well, and their leaders. But what that DEX can do, the technology and the capabilities that it has, to me, it's almost sort of unmatched that you see in Common Ground. So everything from weighted pools. So, for example, in the future, we could have a pool that you could get exposure to gold, silver, and diamonds in an ETF type environment almost. You could have multi-reward tokens that are available. The NFT marketplace that's going to be launching, our NFTs fit in perfectly there. There's just a number of reasons I could go on and on about. I think most importantly, we trust the folks that are running, right? We have a very, very good personal relationship with them. And we feel that the collective finance will be good for the DEX, and that the DEX will be good for collective finance.
Yeah, I
Very
think
cool.
if people are curious about like the DEX, then definitely take a look into Balancer V2. That's what the DEX is built off of, and it's an entirely Balancer V2 style DEX. So everything that Balancer offers, Vertec is offering, which just makes a perfect synergy for what collective finance is doing.
Very cool. Yeah, I need to spend more time over there. I'm in the Discord, but I haven't really learned too much about it. So that sounds pretty exciting. All right, let's keep hitting the questions. So what did angel investors buy in for CLF at? And the question is, when can angel investors dump?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Not that I think they would, if they're early adopters, but it's a possibility, I suppose.
No, and this is good. It goes to our background again as big angel investors. So when you look at the arrangement that we gave for the angels, it was a combination of liquidity and vested CLF as well as the angel NFTs. So the dumping is really, even the option of it in a large amount is not going to be there. And I can tell you this too. We personally know all of our angels. I mean, we interact with them every day. They didn't buy in as angels to dump. They're not in for a quick fix, right? So the way the system is set up, it's sort of anti-dumping, and we have the right folks on our home team too.
Yeah, so a little bit about the explanation. Essentially, a large majority of the position that the Angels get is in XCLF, and that is the locked staking. And so the base rate that they are getting is in a 90-day tier, though they can choose to upgrade it to a 180-day lock, so an even longer time frame. And it's also good to note that when people in the ecosystem as XCLF are compounding, you want to compound into your position, make it a bigger size position, it actually resets that lock time. So I assume that there will be a ton of people that'll be looking to compound, grow their positions so that they're earning more of the pot of rewards that gets sent out. Those people that are compounding, their timer gets reset. So yeah, I'd say we have everything set up in a very good fashion to prevent that sort of dumping after launch or anything. Baseline rate, it would be 90 days. If every single angel didn't compound, wasn't participating, then it would be 90 days that they could finally dump. But as Doc said, we have close relationships with every single one, and we are highly confident, very, very highly confident that these guys are here for the long term.
Awesome. You guys have put some thought into it, so that's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How long will benefits of the pre-sale NFT last? Is that the life of the NFT?
Yeah,
Ongoing.
absolutely. Yep.
Ongoing, and it's we get questions a lot. The rewards follow the NFT, so they are transferable, right? And there's going to be a marketplace directly on the DEX for those to be bought and sold as well.
Very cool. Yeah, so those could certainly be worth something post-launch if they're, making a reasonable passive income.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay, another question. How many fractionalization that occur mostly in NFT be adaptable to collectify in long-term aspect?
Oh God.
I don't think I understand that question.
Me neither. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Can we try to?
Hankadu, if you can clarify that.
Yeah, we'll jump on to another.
Fractionalization. Yeah, we'll go on. If you're still there, Hankadu, clarify that for us. And the final question we have here from Serenity: after the launch happens, what is the biggest concern you have that could devastate the collective project?
I'd say we
man.
have everything set up in a very good way, that it's all built on long-term stability and growth, and that there aren't many ways that could happen, that could devastate the project, because even if so I guess one thing as an example would be
let me jump
there's
in.
slow adoption. So there's just not a lot of people that are trading. It would just be a slower growth for the project overall, but it's still going to be growing no matter what because of how we have everything set up.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to jump in and say too, like it doesn't we when we were actually doing this, we were going, even if everything we don't have anybody buy into the pre-sale or anything, we actually still have money to go to work with. So, I mean, it's we've figured out a way to, if it doesn't do well, that it's just going to be slower growth, and it's the bank run scenario is accounted for. That's why we're over collateralized. So, I mean, as far as the C tokens go. So yeah, I would say that worst case scenario, somebody could do a bank run and we have what we have left in the LP, and everybody gets their money back, whenever they cash out. But I mean, that's not that's going to be tough to happen. I mean,
yeah. When you look at what our protocol's built around, like I said before, right? Bitcoin and gold. So in my opinion, it's more of a black swan type thing that could be, catastrophic. Does something happen to Binance? Do you know what I mean? Is that more so a really large scale type event that could affect us than something intrinsically? I think when you look at the sort of the baseline of the portfolio and the vault and those assets, again, it goes back to always having an underlying net asset value. You know what I mean? If the bottom falls out in something, it's not going to be gold. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's in the CLF token, but you have these other things really just there sort of backing it up. So I think we're pretty stable from that standpoint. Just maybe the growth doesn't happen as quickly as we want. But that's not a horrible thing either. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to grow at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We want to do it at a healthy, productive rate.
Yeah,
Consistent.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly, because it's a bear market right now. It's all about building and growing, and potentially waiting for that bear market to come to really blow up and everything. But yeah, like we're in a bear market. We're all about building right now, and we know we planned everything accordingly to make sure that things can still run even if we don't hit our exact goals.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep, and then prepare for the best for when the bear market is over. I think everyone's looking forward to that. That's for sure. I know I am.
Exactly why we went with Bitcoin. If things turn out well, then CLF will be looking really good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Another comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. I just want to say, when we were talking about the angel raise and all that money, I think it's important to know that we are angels as well. That we put a lot of our own money into this, right? And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So that myself, Crip, NP, we're all sailing on that same ship. So we didn't just take other people's money to use for this stuff. We committed ourselves heavily.
You got skin in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Not just your time, but also your funds.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, time is, my time is very valuable. I value my time, but I mean, when it comes to startups and new businesses, I mean, you're the last one usually to get paid. So that's typically, and I know this from my experience in real life, and Doc does too. So, we put our skin in the game, and we want to make sure everybody's taken care of.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. And yeah, you guys obviously, having your own businesses currently before, you understand that. So I appreciate that. All right. Well, this has been a great AMA, guys. Super appreciate you guys coming out. Why don't we go ahead and do the giveaways? I figured maybe I'd choose one person and then you guys could choose a second person together to who gets the freebie for the CLF token once things launch. So I'm going to give mine out to Mr. Marty. I think you asked a lot of good questions early, so appreciate your questions and insight. So appreciate it. Guys, I'll pass it over to you real quick.
I'm just taking a look.
Who do you want to
right
go with? Yeah, maybe you weren't watching. I mean,
Oh.
Serenity asked some legit questions.
I was just going to say, not only some legit ones, but he had a lot of them on there that were good.
Yeah, he's up there, that's for sure. Up to you
All right.
guys.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
look-
think
you
I
guys,
just looked
Let's.
through it.
and I'll tell
let's-
you or yes. No.
I would. How about this? How about if we throw an extra one on there too? How about if we give to Serenity and then also Cyril too? I like that question that Cyril asked.
Yeah, that was a good question. 25 each?
25 each. You got it.
Awesome. I really appreciate that, guys. We wow, a lot of good engagement here. So this was really good. Really appreciate you guys coming over here and sharing the opportunity. A lot of moving parts. I think I still have some questions. I'm going to spend some time over in your Discord, coming up here on pre-sale to see what even I want to do. So really appreciate you guys coming on here. Definitely interesting times ahead. So
Yeah.
any last minute?
No, thank you so much for getting us on. I know there's so many moving parts with our project. I think we'll probably have to come back on for another one just to touch base and go over some more details because there's some things we haven't even fully covered yet. But 100% appreciate the time. Thanks everybody for asking all the questions. It was super, super good and just a great time being here. So thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, agreed. Well done, guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you much, and thanks everyone in the audience for coming to. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and I want to say I'm sorry, Doc. I didn't mean to cut you off at the end there. I was going to say one thing too. Everybody was super engaged here, as you said, and that is super important to us. So I would say our team has some pretty cool stuff going on over there in real life and in DeFi, and it's kind of fun to be around these guys because there's so much anywhere from growing to real life stuff. It's just really cool. So thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, and I'll actually say everybody that's here today, if you come join our server, say hi in the general chat. I'll toss you an OG roll.
Very cool. We appreciate that, and yeah, we'll put out the recording here shortly and tag a link to the Discord so everyone can give it a join and go have a deeper look.
Nice.
All right, guys, really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here, and have a lovely day.
You too. Thanks, Mike.
All right,
Thanks,
bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.